Today's off to a pretty rough start. I went and grabbed some coffee with my dad, which was great and all, and then when I was in his car, it seemed like he was kind of in a rush to get home, so I was kind of hurrying and went to put my lid on the coffee and accidentally crushed it, and the entire bottom just cracked with like this giant slit, and coffee came pouring out all over his new to him car. So I cleaned that up. Then I went to a big box retailer to get some plastic drop sheet cloth stuff, because today we're going to finish painting the chassis, undercarriage, whatever you want to call it. And the battery on the bus is dead. It's been a few minutes, so the battery must be really dead for it to take this long. Usually, at least with the old hybrid car that I had, you could just attach the wires real quick and it would just like that. Sometimes I just like to imagine this is what it would look like if it was lifted. All tarped up again. Hey, yesterday finished painting the undercarriage chassis, whatever you want to classify it as. Very happy with how that turned out. Right now I'm cutting out panels for the rear bench. So these are the seat backs I've been building. Seat backs, just the simple thin wood that I've been using on all the other parts of the build. Then the back, you can see there, we have supports going sideways to keep it from flexing in the middle. Now the fit is not perfect, and that's fine. You can see obvious gaps towards the top. Fortunately, these are going to be covered with cushion, so most of the time you aren't going to see the back unless you're opening it up, and honestly, it's my stuff, it's my storage. I'm not going to be showing a lot of people. I'll be showing you, maybe. Regardless, after these are painted or stained or whatever, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to keep these in place. I'm thinking of a simple snap mechanism, but maybe we'll take a hardware store trip and try to figure out what we can do. Just to show you what the underside looks like. All shiny and chrome. This is that area we said we were going to look at for comparison. Here's that door stopper. In the light you can see the reflectiveness. I had some trouble getting the rubber stopper in, so that's where these marring marks are, but as you can see there's no actual flaking, which is exactly what we want. I also still have the step up that I wanted to put on the back here. I measured the distance from these two holes here, and it's about 8¼ inches. So over here, what I'll do is we divide that 8¼ inches by 2, and that'll make 4⅛ inches going this way, 4⅛ inches going this way from the center point here, and that's where we should have the bars mounted, sort of like this. So I went ahead and drilled a 5/16 inch hole, and I'm using the provided hardware that they included. So this is, I believe, a 1-inch bolt. I'd highly recommend using thread locker. I'll do that, but later. First I'm gonna go ahead and do a pre-install, see how everything is tightened up and all that. Then I'll go ahead and take a step on it. I think it'll hold with just 2 bolts just fine. Now, some people do say that the hardware included is very cheap, so if that's the case, I'll end up going to the Big Blue Box store and getting some of their titanium, are they titanium? I believe they're titanium screws. I really like the quality that they have at the Big Blue Box store. Alright, it seems to be sturdy. Oh, it holds! That's so much easier to get into. You can see it bowing a little bit, so I'll probably put more screws, another 2 bolts in to support it, but it's really good to know that it works perfectly fine, and it looks kind of sharp too. And after I'm done, I'll go ahead and pull the bolts back out and give them a top coat of paint. It's not perfect, but you're really not going to notice it unless you're looking for it. So after the panels dried, I went ahead and took 80 grit sandpaper and used that rotating random orbit sander thingy-mabob to hit them, make them look like that, and then gave them another coat, and they look like that. Really cool look, inspired by what my brother did on the butcher block countertop way back when. And this is what the seat backs look like. I'm really happy with how the wear looks on each panel. And I think it's interesting that those two are going sideways and this one's going vertical. And these panels are not mounted yet, but they look pretty good.